One day, a man rented a house on the outskirts of the forest. The house had been abandoned for a long time, and no one had lived there before. The owner renovated it, repainted it, changed its decor, and put it up for rent. The man arrived and rented it, beginning to narrate his terrifying story. I moved with my family to this house, and we spent our first peaceful and beautiful night there. Several days passed, and we settled into the house. I was very happy with the breathtaking view of the forest edges, and my children enjoyed the small garden attached to the house, where they played and had fun. I would go to work in the morning, come back in the evening, and sleep early to continue working the next day. But my wife enjoyed staying up watching TV. After a week, she stopped at my bed, trembling, fear filling her eyes. She told me she heard noise in the hallway leading to the kitchen every night, and sometimes she heard children screaming and footsteps running around the house. I tried to calm her, suggesting that these sounds might be from the TV or radio. I advised her to continue praying and reading the Quran to ease her fears. She calmed down a bit, and we slept peacefully that night. The next day, I returned late from work, exhausted. When I entered the house, I found my wife sitting in the living room, her eyes wide and trembling violently. When she woke up, she told me she had seen a woman sitting with her in the living room, talking to her. That woman told her that she and her family had been living in this house for a very long time and would never leave. My wife advised me to find another house because this house was too small for all of us. I was shocked to hear this strange story from my wife. As soon as she finished, a short man appeared before me and said, "We don't want to harm you and your family, but our family is large, and we are the real residents of this house. We came long before you moved in. I want you to find another house, and I've given you a month to move without causing harm to any of your family members, and without us appearing to you day or night." We accepted the conditions and left the house without returning. The narrator begins by stating that they had never lived in a haunted house themselves, but their mother had lived in one of those abandoned houses during her teenage years. There were strange stories circulating about inexplicable events in the neighboring houses on their street, and a family lived just a few houses away. One night, the neighbor's daughter went to bed but complained of a severe headache. The next day, she was found dead, with the cause of death identified as a ruptured blood vessel. After the funeral, the family tried to move on from the tragedy, and the narrator's father asked their uncle to check on their pets in the house. The uncle went with the narrator's father to the house. The narrator's mother, aware of a grand piano in the house, wanted to play it. The narrator's father, who studied veterinary medicine, entered the house with them. The uncle and the narrator's father went downstairs to check on the pets, while the mother went to the ground floor to play the piano. While playing, she suddenly felt something touch her ankle. At first, she thought it was the cat and continued playing. Moments later, she felt the touch again, stronger this time. She decided to look under the piano, but found nothing. She resumed playing, but suddenly felt two hands gripping her legs tightly, pressing down on them forcefully. Terrified, she pushed herself forcefully towards the cellar door, calling for her husband and brother-in-law. When the homeowner returned, he asked her what was wrong. As she explained what happened, his face turned pale with horror and shock. He told her that he used to play with his daughter before her death on the piano, and she would crawl on the floor and grip his ankles tightly, pushing them up and down on the piano pedals. Thus, the narrator's mother uncovered the terrifying truth behind the strange occurrences in the abandoned house, leaving the family horrified and stunned by this mysterious revelation that defied easy explanation.